when most beginners learn programming in the first time, they just learn variables and move on. So when they get stuck in the future, they have no idea how to resolve that, how to get out of it. Why? Because they have not learned the fundamentals very well. Now, let's learn Python variables to avoid that. This is Alamin from Python PowerShow, and I'm going to be your instructor. Okay, I messed that one. Okay, let's get into it right now. The first thing we're gonna do is, I am right now on my desktop. Okay, you can see in my terminal I am on my desktop, so I'm gonna make a directory or a folder. A directory is just a fancy name for a folder. Okay, I'm gonna make a folder. I'm gonna call it app. I don't know, but I will call it app. Okay, and you can see right here I have another folder called app. So let's get in there, cd app for simplicity, and let's open this folder up with a Visual Studio Code. That's the editor I'm using. So just do code period and then enter. It's gonna open it up in Visual Studio Code, but if that doesn't work on your machine, on your computer, you can just open Visual Studio Code manually and then drag and drop this folder onto the application, onto the editor. Okay, here we go. So now let's make a new file. I'm gonna call this new file app.py. Okay, new file, I'm gonna call it app.py. Now why did I add this .py? Because it's a Python file. Every Python file should have the .py extension. That's it. So let's save. Now we have a new file. Now to close this thing, this I don't know, this thing, you can just do it here. Okay, there are three ways that I know you can do this. You can do with Control B to bring it back, and then Control B to take it out. And then of course you can tap here. I mean, not tap, I was talking to Android users. Okay, just click here and it goes away. Okay, now let's create a variable. Okay, but first of all, for those who don't know, a variable is just a container for Python values. Okay, for values. Now if you store a value inside a computer, container, I mean, the computer will then use it for its processing when needed. For example, let's make a variable right now. To create a variable in Python, it's very easy, I promise. First of all, you just type the variable name. For example, you do x. You can call it x or whatever you want. Just okay, I don't like x. Everyone uses x. Let's use app. Our app, okay, the app word is now the variable we want to use. So how do you make it a variable? Okay, you just assign a value to it. For example, let's say Alamin. Good. So now we have a variable. Just like that, we have a variable. Okay, now this value Alamin, this string, is stored inside this app. Now why did I call this assignment? I said let's assign a variable to it, a value to it, I mean. So the reason I call this assignment is because this is called an assignment operator. It's the equals sign in mathematics, but in Python it's an assignment operator here. Okay, now if you want to use equals, you have to use double equal signs. Okay, so that's it. So now to see the output of this program, you just type the print function. Okay, right here you just print and then braces and the name of your variable, which is app in our case. So you press, or let me show you the manual one to do it before the shortcut. Here is the way you can just tap on here to run the file and see the result of your variable, or you can press Ctrl Alt and N. Now let's use this one. It's here, as you can see, it's right there. Good. So let's change the value right now. Let's do, you can also use single quotes for variables. I'm just to let you know, for those that don't know, again, you can use single quotes and say this is blah. Okay, blah blah, and then you do that, and here you go. This is blah blah. Okay, great. So another thing you can do with variables is you can see the type of an action. Oh, sorry, I said action. You can see the type of a value of the value. For example, let's store variables. For example, say x equals blah blah. Okay, I use black blah blah, and then we do y equals, okay, not minus, equals 5. We do z equals 0.1, 0.5, I mean, sorry. Now if we want to see the types of these values, you just simply print, and then you have, in Python we have a built-in function called type. So you just pass it here, you say type, and then you call the parenthesis and x, which is one of our variables, and then you do shift alternative down arrow to duplicate that, and then duplicate it once more. So this one would be z, and this one would be, okay, the up one would be y. Now run this. There we go. We can see that now we have their classes. This one, the first one is of class string. The next one is of integer, which is here, right here, and the one below is of class float. Okay, so here we go. So with that, you can type the variable you want or any value you want, and you can print its type. Okay, this is not specific to variables. You can just for example, you can do this. For example, let's say tada, okay, say pass. Okay, so now you print the type of tada. I'm not sure if you have to call the function or just pass the reference to it, but let's try this. Okay, let's Control Alternative N to run this. Okay, you can see here it is. It's a class of function, which means it's simply a function, right? So you don't have to type the parenthesis, or I think you'll get error if you do that. Let's try it. Now you type the parenthesis for calling the function. Okay, you do shift 9. Now let's say you don't have to save, just run it one more time. Okay, I think you will get an error for this. Okay, you didn't get an error, but it says it's a class of non-type, which means it did not understand what is this. You can do this not only to variables, you can do to other types as well, just to find the type of it. Okay, and you can also assign a type to something. For example, you can make number 3, you can say x equals str, and then short for string, and then 3, so that when you type the when you print the output of this one, you're gonna find a string. Okay, for example, print and then type X. So okay, let's run. Now type of X, we're gonna see that it's a string. See, it's a class of string. You can change that. Now if you remove this, easily you remove the parentheses or everything, and then you do run again, you're gonna see it's gonna say this time it's an integer. You can change this however you want. Python is that easy, it's that simple. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do, let's try to concatenate two values of a variable. For example, let's say X. Okay, we'll do X plus, okay, let's make the variable first. We do X equals, let's do, for example, Python variables right here, and then we do Y equals, okay, assign the value to it. Let's learn. Okay, let's learn, and then with a space. Okay, another thing that I forgot to tell you is that here I have used a single quote here. So inside double quotes you can use single quotes, okay, and inside double quotes you can also use single quotes. Yeah, it's not any confusion, right? So let's print this thing together. So you print okay, your variable X plus, okay, not minus, damn it, plus then Y. There we go. We're gonna see I have a space right here. So okay, I think I should change these things to Y plus X. Y plus X. Alright, here we go. Now let's run this program and see the values. Now you see, let's learn Python variables. Easy. So, and the next thing we can do, we can also make these things. Okay, let's make this an integer. For example, integer, let's do 5. Here let's do, I don't know. So if you print this one here, you're gonna see it's gonna give you the sum of them, and you can use any operator here. For example, you can do minus, and it's gonna subtract Y from X, which is gonna subtract okay, which is going to be 59. Okay, and you can use a star here, which is multiplication. You can use division, you can use whatever you want, and it's gonna still give you the exact what you need. Okay, so I think we should make this video as short as possible, so we can learn more about variables in the future videos. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching. Peace.